guys, welcome back to the channel, and today's video we continue the collab with Kuro of What If the Good Saiyans Won the Civil War, and I hope you guys enjoy. If you missed the last part, go check out on his channel so you will not be confused. Before we get started, hope you subscribe and mine's channel and hit that bell icon to be informed of any future what ifs. If we hit the like goal of 40 likes, Kuro will make the next part. And if you have any what if suggestions for me, write down in the comments, and then if I see enough interest, I'll do it. Now, let's continue this story. Cell has been disintegrated with no chance of regenerating. The two Saiyans power down and fall to the ground, completely exhausted. The others come and congratulate them for the win. They both eat a senzu bean and smile. They not only defeated Cell, but they also unlocked a new transformation, which should be useful. So, peace has returned. They used the Dragon Balls to bring back everyone that was killed by 13 at Cell, which include the androids. But they know that they can't defeat the Z Fighters now, since they just defeated Cell, so they decide to stay neutral. And that means also that 18 and Krillin don't get together. Well, at least not yet. The future warriors decide to stay for a little bit longer, and they visit Dr. Gero's lab. While it's a little bit wrecked after 16 explosion, it is still standing. They destroy present Cell and find the blueprints for androids 17, 18, and 13. And they can see that 17 and 18 have shutdown systems, but 13 does not. And even though they're confident that they can beat their androids with their own power, they still ask Bulma to make the shutdown button. So she does, but she tells them if they use the shutdown button, it will also turn off 18. And Baby may not be able to use her body anymore. But Baby doesn't mind, because he has an idea for a new host. And for extra reassurance, Tien and Yamcha teach them a technique they learned from King Kai. And when that's all said and done, they return to the future. When they arrive, they are first greeted by Bulma and asked them how it went, and they said it went perfectly, and now that they're definitely ready to stop the androids. She wishes them luck, and the three fly off towards the androids. They see androids 17 and 13 are just destroying another city, so they get close enough that the button should work and go on pressing it, as suddenly 17 and 18 fall to the ground, and Baby leaves 18's body and said it was weird. Her body became really heavy. It would have been hard to use it right now. But they can see that 13 is completely unaffected from the button, and he's just confused of what happened to 17. And before he had any time to react, Trunks and Gohan rush in, already in Super Saiyan 2. This catches him completely off guard, and he's being bombarded. He powers up to his maximum, trying to defend himself, and he's not that weaker than the both of them, but not by much, since their coordination, and they're still way more powerful than him. Even though Gohan and Trunks know they can defeat 13 now if they really wanted to, but they actually want to try out the new technique that Tien and Yamcha teach them. So they back away from 13 and then from each other, and 13 sees that they're doing some weird dance. And when their fingers connect, a brilliant light shines. And when the light disappears, a new warrior appears, who names himself Gohanks, the fusion between Gohan and Trunks. He pulls his sword and rushes at 13. Now the battle is completely one-sided. As you can see, while Yamcha and Tien were at King Kai's planet during the time skip before the Cell games, they managed to learn the fusion dance, and they decide to teach them to the fusion warriors. And fusion multiplier, as we know, is pretty insane. It's gonna easily defeat him. But Gohan, still out of curiosity, powers up to Super Saiyan, and he's surprised with his own power. Now the fight is definitely over. Gohan's fires are burning Masenko, which completely obliterates 13. And he is ready to do the same for the other two androids, but surprisingly, Baby stops them, and Gohan seems confused. What does he want? To spare them? Baby says no, of course, they don't deserve to live, but he has another idea, and he explains his plan. A couple weeks pass after the androids were defeated, and Gohan and Trunks are ready to go to the past to inform of their victory. But then they can sense a familiar presence coming to them, and it was Cell, who was hoping to get the time machine and go to the past to steal the other two androids. But Gohan and Trunks expected him, so Trunks goes in and fights first, and he powers up to Super Saiyan 2, and even with this power, Cell is pretty even. due to his DNA and multiple techniques. But Cell can see that Trunks isn't fighting to kill, and he eventually grabs his tail and rips it off. But he isn't worried because he can just regenerate. But then unexpectedly, Trunks yells "now!" and before Cell has any time to react, Baby comes in and goes aside the tail. Cell screams, no, he completely forgot about that parasite. He tries to fight back, but there's no use, and Baby completely takes over Cell's body. He looks at himself, and he's feeling kinda weird, because this is the time where he actually possessed an organic body, which feels kinda weird for him, unlike 18's body, but he can still feel the overwhelming power. And for the plan, Gohan brings the other two androids to Baby, and after gaining basic understanding of his new body, he regenerates the tail and absorbs the other two androids, which allows Cell, or Baby, to become perfect. And now they have a really powerful defender on their side, and the three are confident with Gohan and Trunks and Baby's power, Earth is in good hands. Back in the past, the 7-year time skip came. Raymond and Raz get together since he thought she was quite attractive, and they went on a few dates, and now they're officially also married and have twins, a boy and a girl, who are named Lekka and Nankostu. And everyone besides Vegeta also find a job, and Raz became a farmer like Goku. Raymond and Oren work at Capsule Corp, and Broly has become a park ranger due to his love for animals, and surprisingly, after a couple of months to his job, he gets a partner. And for him, surprisingly, it was Android 17. He was first worried that 17 came here for other purposes, but after hanging out with him, he realized that 17 has changed after Cell, and the two become good friends, both working as park rangers and sometimes sparring with each other, and the two become very powerful. Gohan is also able to actually keep up with his training, since thanks to his father being alive and actually having an inspiration to be like Raymond, who can even having a job, a family, can still balance training, which shows him that it is possible to balance schoolwork with training. And thanks to him still training, he also manages to unlock Super Saiyan 4. Raz also managed to unlock the transformation, thanks to Raymond and Goku's advice. While Broly did manage to go Super Saiyan 4, he is getting a better grasp on his Super Saiyan form and trying to go beyond that. Goten is born like normal, but since Goku is alive, Goten becomes a bit stronger. Side note, present Baby also was born in the time skip, but he won't be useful since there are no strong bodies that he can possess, but he will be useful in later parts. And one last thing to mention is that Piccolo fuses with Kami in the time skip. Kami is getting quite old, and with the help of King Kai, they're able to contact the Namekians, and they bring Dende to Earth, so there's no risk of the Dragon Balls disappearing. And when they fuse, Piccolo gets a giant boost in power, and he can amp up his Kaioken to very high levels, making him not actually too far from the rest of the Saiyans. And so the time skip ends, and Gohan goes to school, and will also become the Great Saiyaman, but unlike original, he gets a disguise. He can just transform into Super Saiyan 4. It's perfect, the perfect disguise, and that's his strongest form, so he will always be at his strongest. So when he's on the Great Saiyaman duty, he's usually in Super Saiyan 4, and this is sorta like training because he gets more proficient with the form. Videl still finds out about Gohan's secret identity and blackmails him to train her and to enter the next world tournament. Gohan explains to his family about the tournament, and Goku's really excited. It has been a while since he was in a tournament, and they do need some money, so this is the perfect chance, and he invites everyone he knows to the tournament, and everyone agrees to go. Broly also invites 17 to go, but he says that he wants to stay to protect the island, but he wishes Broly good luck and win that prize money. The tournament, of course, is gonna be a lot different because there are so many new people, so the brackets are gonna change quite a bit. But first, let's go to the kids division. Now, we will only focus on the main fights, so the first fight will be Nankoustu versus Goten, and Nankoustu takes the win. Since Nankoustu is not only more intelligent fighter than Trunks, he is still half Tuffle Saiyan hybrid, since that means he has slightly more potential than a human hybrid. even though Goten trained with his dad. Now the second fight is between Trunks and Lekka, and it's also pretty one-sided. Even when Trunks goes Super Saiyan, Lekka can also transform, and she takes the win. And Raz takes great pride with his kids defeating his rival. It just shows how great a teacher he is. And the final match is between the siblings, Lekka and Nankostu. They both decide not to hold back, and they both power up to Super Saiyan and rush at one another. This fight is extremely even, since they know each other's moves, drawbacks, and strengths. But Lekka, is being a little bit smarter than her brother, decides to aim for the tail, since their father never actually trained them to perfect the tail weakness. So the tail is a big weak spot. So she's able to get behind him and grab the tail, which drains all her brother's power. And he's shocked. He completely forgot about his tail. And another side note, the two will have tails, because since Gohan had one, and I would say as a theory, all of the hybrid firstborns have tail. So let's just roll with it. So with Nankastu's power drained, she throws him out of the ring, giving her the victory for the kids division. And Raymond smiles for her daughter, and she says to Raz that she won the bet, and he owes her some zenny. And Raz just face palms. Now the kid division is over. Now it's time for the adult division, and the brackets are going to change, but there's gonna be a lot more people. But I only want to change the first fight. With instead Krillin fighting Pintar, it will be 18. And Krillin is been a little bit slacking off on his training. And 18 is here because she does want the prize money. And when they fight, she is extremely impressed with Krillin. While he is slacking off on his training, he still has the Kaioken. But even with that, 18 barely wins. But she says she's still impressed with his power and gives him a kiss on the cheek, saying that if they maybe should hang out sometime. And Krillin blushes. And now the rest of the tournament actually goes the same. Piccolo could probably beat Shin if he wanted to, but he still forfeits the match. Videl and Spopovich fight also went the same, but the difference is now is the fight between Kibito and Gohan. And when Kibito asks Gohan to power up to his full power, Gohan powers up to Super Saiyan 4, and Spopovich and Yam are shocked with the power they can see. This energy is immense. The reader is even beginning to malfunction from how much power he's exerting. There should be more than enough to revive Boo, and the two rush at Gohan. And Shin tries to restrain Gohan, but with Gohan's power being way too massive, he easily breaks the paralyzation and punches the two into the wall. Out of fear, they retreat. Gohan looks to Kibito, and Kibito apologizes. He says that it was just part of the plan to lure them, and he wants Gohan to come with him because they need his help to defeat a new enemy. And Shin invites the others too to join, and they all agree. The only ones who stayed are Krillin and Raymond, since Raymond still wants the prize money and she knows that the boys will handle it, and Krillin because he wants to stay with 18. So all the Saiyans and Orin fly off, and when they arrive, they see Babidi killing his Spopovich and Yamo, disappointed with their progress. Deborah sees the gang and he teleports in front of Kibito, ready to kill him, but Broly is able to react in time and punches Deborah away, saving Kibito. And Deborah is shocked. These people are way stronger than he thought. It will be difficult to fight him. He still lures them to the ship, and the first fight is against Pui Pui. And Orin volunteers, because this guy is nothing compared to the Saiyans, but at least he will have some entertainment. But unlike Krillin, Orin kept up with his training, since he doesn't have really any responsibilities, and he manages to increase his Kaioken so much that he can go to times 100 with no strain. But again, this guy is so weak, he doesn't even need to use the Kaioken. He messes up with Pui Pui a bit, being his intangible ability, and eventually kills them. Next is Yakon, and Radz wants to take this one. He transforms into a Super Saiyan, but he realizes that Yakon is absorbing his light. So he just powers up more, and Yakon just flat out explodes from absorbing all that light, and Radz is just, well, disappointed. And now the last fight is against Deborah, and Broly wants to fight him. They all agree, and Broly knows if he goes Super Saiyan, it would be overkill. So he just powers up to Akari and fights Deborah. And even this is more than enough against Deborah. But Deborah knows that all the Saiyans were way stronger than him, so he's fighting more defensively, dragging the fight on to get more energy to revive Majin Buu. And all the Saiyans are pretty disappointed. This guy is the king of the demon realm, but he can't even take on Broly's Ikari form. They even make a joke about that if 13 was here, he could probably be this guy. And eventually, Broly does kill Deborah, but it was just barely enough energy to revive Majin Buu. And Shin is terrified. It is over. Why were they dragging the fights? But he looks to the Saiyans, and they all just look at him in disappointment. They say to Shin that yes, this guy is pretty strong. He's definitely stronger than their Super Saiyan 2 forms. But if they went full power on this guy is just pathetic. Shin is confused. Are they really that strong? Gohan smiles. He says that he wants to take this one since it has been a while since he actually fought a powerful opponent. And they all allow him. He powers up to Super Saiyan 4 and begins to body Buu. He tries to fight back, but Gohan is stronger, smarter, and faster than him. And after a quick one-sided fight, he fires a Kamehameha at Buu, which surprisingly for him, completely disintegrates Buu. He didn't even know that he had regeneration. Babidi, Shin, and Kibito are left in awe. These people are not mortal. They just beat Majin Buu with pretty much no difficulty. And the Saiyans give Shin the honor to kill Babidi. And now the threat of Buu and Babidi has been dealt with. Shin and Kibito thank everyone for their help, and as a thank you gift, they invite them to train on their planet. All the Saiyans refuse since they have their own responsibilities, but Orin and Piccolo agree because they have barely any responsibilities on Earth. And this may be a good chance to get stronger and catch up with the Saiyans. Shin is happy to have 2 new students, and the 2 temporarily say their goodbyes and leave to the Supreme Kai's planet. The Saiyans return to the tournament where they find out that Raymond managed to defeat 18. She also fought Mr. Satan, but Mr. Satan was able to bribe her. The Saiyans are a bit bummed out that they missed the tournament, but at least he had some decent fights. And they all return to their normal lives, until 4 years later, Beerus, the destroyer of Universe 7, wakes up from his slumber, having a dream about a being or a transformation that has not been heard for thousands of years, the Super Saiyan God. And that's where we leave off this part of what if the good Saiyans won the Civil War. As always, if you have anyone have a suggestion for me, write down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing. And if this video reaches 40 likes, Kuro will make the next part. And I'll see you guys in my next video.